Good afternoon and welcome to a sunny and bright Cooma. It's round 3 of the National Premier League Capital Football Tigers FC versus Canberra, Croatia. A clash between two teams that went into the weekend first and fourth on the ladder. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me on the top of a scaffold which feels very secure, for health and safety reasons we have to say that, is Lachlan Roberts from Capital Football. Good afternoon, mate.
How are you, Russ?
We had a good trip down, didn't we? It was quite eventful. But we're here now, and the conditions look great. But unfortunately, the pitch, which we've walked on and had a look at, is bumpy, quite long, and not in the best condition.
It's kind of the norm, isn't it, for the Nijong Oval down here in Cooma? But there's plenty of goals in the under-23s game before it. That was a 9-0 result, so hopefully the match isn't affected too much by the pitch, and we'll see a few goals here this afternoon.
Well, you'd hope not, because these two sides both like to play football the right way, and if they get the opportunity to do so, we should be in for an absolute belter of a game. Just to confirm what happened yesterday, of course, 2 matches took place in the afternoon. We were both at O'Connor Enclosed to watch Canberra Olympic beat Monero Panthers 3-1, and the other match at Melrose, Tuggeranong United with their first win of the season, a couple of goals from Harry Truman in their 2-0 win over Woden Western. The Canberra Olympic game, Monero once again for the 3rd week in a row, probably a little bit unlucky.
Just can't buy the 3 points, can they? Went down 3-1, as you said, and 1-1 at half-time, and just felt like they deserved something out of that game yet again for the 3rd week in a row, and they couldn't find the back of the net in the second half.
In a short season, that's quite a big defeat for them as well to have to look at. And Tuggeranong United off the mark. The game here this afternoon, let's have a look at the two teams as they come out, starting with Tigers FC. They make one change from the side that beat Monero 2-1 at the Panthers' Den last week. Michael Kitter comes in midfield in place of Goran Jozefovski. And Ryan Grogan's picked what on paper looks like a 4-1-4-1. Jacob Cole in goal, Tony Spaseski, Lawrence Redmond, Nathan Medjic and Gabe Cole across the back. Michael Kitter in the holding role. Then Sam Whittier, Julian Borgner, Rocco Stricker and Jared Tanini with Mark Shields leading the line.
Watch out for Borgner, 3 goals in his first 2 games this season, so he's been a threat in the midfield.
On the bench, there's a return for Mariano Canavesio, the Argentinian who broke his finger in round 1. Goran Jozefovski is on the bench, also alongside Alex Oloribri, Christian Junner and Daniel Grove. Canberra, Croatia, for their part, make 2 changes from the side that drew 1-1 on that soggy and wet Deakin enclosed against Gungahlin United. Nico Oida comes in for Dom Giampaolo, who scored the penalty that day, and Daniel Balac makes a return for the suspended Nico Kalfas. So that means that they line up with a 4-1-3-2 on paper. Canberra, Croatia's goalkeeper Sam Brown, the back 4 Jordan Lamb, Marko Verkic, Daniel Subasic and Michael Pocci. Ryan Keir in the holding row, ahead of him Nico Oida, Daniel Colbertaldo and Emilio Kishta. Daniel Balac's partners Jason Ugrinich.
Daniel Balac came on in the second half against that game against Gungahlin and really brought the game to life after a dour first 45 minutes from Canberra, Croatia, so he's earned his spot in the starting 11 this afternoon. On
the bench, Ivan Pavlak and Dom Giampaolo alongside our mystery man from last week, Andrew Giorgio. He gets another opportunity to show his stuff, and he comes into this in fine form. He bagged a hat-trick in that match that Lachlan was referring to that played just before, when Canberra, Croatia's under-23s fairly annihilated Tigers 9-0. The referee this afternoon is Theo Dracopoulos. This is his 6th match in the middle in the NPL first grade. Pat Holloway and Jacob Martin are his assistants. And typically, on a lovely day that we've had here, the wind's picking up. Just looking at the teams as they line up, looks like there's a late change for Canberra, Croatia as well. Looks like even Pavlak is going to start a left-back in place of Pocci. So maybe there's a bit of an injury or something there. We'll try and find out what happened there. Could have gone down in the warm-up. So Pavlak starts on the left of the back 3. And not only that, he's got the skipper's armband. So we'll try and find out what happened there with that late change. Mark Shields over the ball. 204th NPL appearance for Mark Shields this afternoon. We'll try and keep you up to date as well with what was going on at the AS. Gungahlin United, Belconnen United this afternoon. 4 matches in the WNPL as well, so a feast of football in Canberra. Picture perfect conditions for us here as Tigers get us underway. Attacking the goal to our right in the first half, and Jacob Cole, their goalkeeper, Played the full 90 minutes in that under-23 match as well, as he did last week.
A big
Had plenty to do.
A big boost in confidence, conceding 9 goals, a few penalties as well. So,
well, he might be called into action early on as Oida makes the first foray into Tigers territory, and it's a decent run as well. The ball's going to break for Kishler on the edge of the box. Exchange of passes. Can he get his shot away? Still going. Early panic stations for the Tigers. Here's Barach. Looking to take on Redman and get his cross in. And that's easy for Jacob Cole. He did make some outstanding saves in that match, didn't he? I mean, he was beaten 9 times, but yeah, I mean, but for him, it would have been many, many, many more.
As understandable, he wasn't throwing himself around too much, but did pull off a few fantastic saves. It could have been at least a couple of dozen, to be honest.
Yeah, tough afternoon at the office for the young Tigers. Here's Magic for the seniors, and he's giving that away as well. Kishta takes over. Real chance for Cole, for penalty opportunity, and it's an early spot kick. Daniel Cole-Bataldo brought down in the box. Easy decision for Theo Dracopoulos, and it's 70 seconds in and a spot kick to Canberra, Croatia.
That looked like a stonewall penalty from where I'm standing right here. I don't see what complaints Tigers FC can have for that decision.
Well, it was of their own making. Nathan Magic's clearance wasn't good enough. And there's a real opportunity here for Canberra, Croatia to get off to a dream start. Nico Oida, who wasn't in the team last week, injured his ankle in training before the match against Gungahlin and has been entrusted with a spot kick. Last week's penalty taker, of course, Gianpaolo on the bench. So it's Oida against Jacob Cole inside the first 2 minutes. Drills it into the bottom corner, an erring finish, and that's a perfect start for Dean Greenwich's side on the road. They're one up inside 120 seconds.
That was very quick, wasn't it? Didn't seem like Tigers FC even got into the game in the first couple of minutes. Turned the ball over loosely a couple of times in their backline, and Canberra, Croatia have made them pay.
Could not have asked for a more perfect start, Dean Greenwich and his travelling Canberra, Croatia side. Work for Tigers to do in the opening stages. Here's Kitter. Spaseski under pressure, having to go back to Cole. Spaseski again. Pavlak picks it off. Looks for the runner ahead. It's Oida again. Almost got him behind. And here come the Tigers as an attacking force for the first time this afternoon. And Julian Borgner with 3 goals. That's a bit heavy. Jordan Lamb nicked it off his toes. Stephen Dominici went ahead of Borgner on the leading goal scorers chart. The race for the Golden Boot yesterday, scoring his 4th of the season.
4 in the space of 3 or 4 days after a hat-trick on Wednesday night against Tuggeranong.
I think he was a little bit upset that I said he was having a goal drought. Just wanted to prove something.
A goal drought of a couple of games, was it?
Yeah, but in reality it was about 6 months because there wasn't any football. You know, we can make stats mean whatever we like, can't we? Here's the first touch for Tanini. Shields. Keita to Shields again. Spaseski. Important for Ryan Grogan's team to calm down and get a foothold in the game. Not ideal, was it? The best way to kick off this match. Chance for Stricker the first time he's been on the ball all afternoon. He tried to run his way through and he's got to see him a free kick in a dangerous position.
Ryan Grogan will be absolutely annoyed with that start. After 6 points from a possible 6 points to start the season, to go down like that at a home game. So the first couple of minutes, disappointing. They've still got plenty of time to claw their way back into this one.
Well, they tried against Monero Panthers, of course, and came back to win 2-1 just last week. Stricker with a free kick. The deflection takes it towards the edge of the box. Barach nodded it clear. Magic swings it wide. Opportunity for Redmond to load something towards the far post. He's rather scuffed that. Kitter was there, but Canberra Croatia, as we're now called, could break, but Barach lost out. Here's a chance for Shields. Quick feet inside the penalty area. Kishta did well to hold him up. Here's Cole-Bataldo on the break for the visitors, and he's going to win himself a free kick as well. And this might be a yellow card. I thought Theo Dracopoulos was reaching for his pocket for a moment.
Changed his mind. Once again got caught on the counter, Tigers.
Well, this is Cole-Bataldo playing further forward than we've seen him for a long time, almost as a false 9 for Canberra, Croatia, and he is causing issues in that gap at the moment.
just his pace and creativity is a huge threat for CCFC.
Kia, picked off by Kitta. Chance for him to drive at the heart of the Canberra Croatia defence, but Marko Vrkic was waiting. Knock it out of play. Mentioned those 2 matches yesterday, and I said there's 4 WNPL games going on this afternoon. Corresponding fixture last year was won 1-0 by Canberra FC. Matt Waters with the goal. That was in round 16. They'd met earlier in the season in round 7, a 1-1 draw. Ryan Keir for Tigers, cancelling out Hussein Farej's goal for the visitors on that occasion. And of course, most famously last year, they met in the FFA Cup qualifying final, 0-0 draw. And Tigers went through to the national competition on penalties in a game that was delayed, if I remember rightly. Come back to that in a second. There's a chance for Whittier. Pulls it back to Borgner. Whittier again. To deliver towards the far post where Tanini's waiting on the volley. Good hit and an even better save from Sam Brown. Great technique from Jared Tanini. And Sam Brown denies him with the plunging save.
Hands on head for Jared Tanini, because that looked destined to find the back of the net, didn't it? But a great save by Sam Brown. Pushes it over the crossbar and for Tigers' second corner of the afternoon.
A problem for Jordan Lamb, I think that is, down on the ground. Or is it Vrkic? Can't see from here. Looks like Lamb. Don't know what happened there. Good save that though. Wonderful stop from Sam Brown.
You have to be wary at his near post, didn't he? It was a sweetly struck shot.
It's not ideal for Canberra Croatia. It looks like they're going to have to make a change here. Jordan Lamb's match is over fairly early. He's lasted 8 minutes, which isn't ideal. Didn't see what happened there, did you?
No, I didn't. Seemed pretty innocuous.
Did indeed. Anyway, the corner for Tigers. I believe is that Michael Pocci that's come on for him. We had him in the starting lineup. It's a corner kick. Swung towards the far post. Nodded clear by Nico Oida, and there's the drive from Tony Spaseski way over the crossbar. So it looks like it's Daniel Subasic that's come on at the back. So all change in the back four for Canberra Croatia. Michael Pocci was out there from the start, just on the opposite flank. It's interesting to see why that change would have been made early on, Lockie, in terms of before the game. Here's Colbertaldo in behind. We'll come back to that in just a second. Ugrinich on that left foot. Good block. Comes out for Keir. Changes the angle to Oida. Kishta getting into good pockets of space. That's not going to trouble Jacob Calder. Yeah, the original back four we had with Lamb, Vrkic, Subasic and Pocci, and it changed during the warm-up, it seems, and Pocci moved to right back, Pavlak to left back, Vrkic alongside in the centre of defence, and now Daniel Subasic has come on.
Must have been a tactical switch during the warm-ups.
Could have well been, because neither of them look injured. Welcome Roberts looking daggers at me now. I've had coffee delivered, which is rather nice. None for you, though.
The name Russ Gibbs carries in Cooma, apparently. Lachlan Roberts, not so much.
Not just yet. Here's Cole sending it forward. Picked up by Pocci. In midfield is Strucker. Comes to this near side. To Redmond. Forced home. To Magic. You can see the bounce on that ball. Lucky, it's really tricky surface, isn't it?
You've got to really watch your touch, and especially when you're playing it back to your keeper, make sure you're watching the bounce, because otherwise that could skip underneath you and Go into your own net, hit us another one.
Here is Cole. You wonder how much that played a part in the original clearance from Magic, which he kind of scuffed a bit. And I know there was a foot on it from Balac, but that led to the penalty, from which Canberra, Croatia lead. They come forward again with Cole Bataldo. Kishta wants to slip it through. And they're finding some really good pockets of space in and around that Coombe Tigers back four.
As far as we're aware, Tigers have been training at Hawker Football Centre, or they were during pre-season, so that's going from synthetic to quite a bouncy pitch here at Nijong Oval. It's marked difference. So
they trade a fair bit at the AIS grass as well. They were there on Wednesday night when we were there for the Canberra Olympic match, them and Gungahlin. Speaking of which, 8 minutes gone at the AIS, no goals between Gungahlin and Belconnen. Magic volleys that clear. Kishta picks up the pieces. Here's Verkic at the back. Sam Brown, who restored parity. That's not a good clearance, but it's under the feet of Tanini. It's found Borgner. Tanini out wide. Chance to run at Pavlak into the penalty area. Stricker with the left foot drive, always fading away from goal, but better moves from the Tigers.
Looking lively down this right-hand side. Jajani providing a nice outlet. Tigers just working their way into the game after coming out of the sheds late. But
well, if it wasn't for Sam Brown, they'd be level, wouldn't they? There's a wonderful save from that volley from Tanini. Brown with the goal kick. Chance in midfield for Oida. Space for him to pick a pass. I think he's overhit that though for Jason Ugrinich. Not getting anywhere near that one. Looking ahead to next week, live on Bar TV Sports, we'll be at Melrose on Saturday afternoon for Woden Western FC against Panthers. 3:45 kickoff. Entertaining game in store there. Panthers looking for their first points of the season. Woden Western at the moment, I guess, will be looking for a first goal. 3 games without one.
Two sides desperate to grab any points, especially in this shortened season. They can't really afford to lose 4 in a row.
Here's Borgner. To swing it towards that far post. Pavlak's there. One in midfield by Oida. And on Sunday afternoon, we'll be with Canberra, Croatia again at Deakin Stadium. Canberra, Croatia versus Canberra Olympic. Always a treat to watch those two go to battle head-to-head. Tigers themselves, they're at the AS against Gungahlin United.
Lots of great matches next week.
Big matches coming up. And over the next few weeks in this shortened season. Tanini's onside here. Flag stays down. Can he deliver something? Stopped his run, didn't he? He thought he was offside originally.
Confused everyone. Canberra Croatia's backline just stood still, and Tanini didn't know whether to go until the linesman gave him the thumbs up, and he went for it. And too bad his cross wasn't the high standard.
He'd be disappointed once he got in there. Jared Tanini's been a huge servant of this club. Scored 7 NPL goals. Spaseski nods that forward. Might fall here for Borgner. Set up nicely for him, and the form he's in, why not have a pop from there?
Oozing with confidence. As mentioned in pre-game, scored 3 goals in the first 2 games and scored the match win against Panthers last week, late in the game. So that was from that kind of distance. Ball set up nicely for him, but couldn't get his head over the ball.
Important time of the season for Tigers. After today, as I mentioned, Gungahlin United away, then Canberra Olympic away. We'll see where they stand after those matches as to where their final placing in this short 7-round season before the competition splits into 2. Cole asked to get rid of that.
There's a bit of feeling that they might have got a bit lucky in their first 2 games up against Tuggeranong's side, and then it's getting away with the 3 points against Monero. So this is their real proper test for the Tigers to prove their finals credentials and where they will fit into the top 4.
And that final series, when it splits into first, the top 4 and bottom 4, they play each other once, and the top 2 play off in a pseudo grand final.
That's right. It'd be filthy if you're the team that finished 5th and played against the 4 bottom sides, 3 bottom sides.
Well, they go into their own competition, don't they? At the we're still not quite sure what we're calling that.
Any name suggestions?
Oh, we'll think of something. I'm sure we can get. Maybe we can open it up to people that watch.
A poll on Twitter or something.
Yeah, they can give us
I like that.
An opportunity to figure out what it's called.
Grassroots football at its best.
Well, it's a unique situation, but it's unique times that we're living in at the moment, and we're just incredibly lucky that we got some football. Here's Barac trying to backheel his way through. Talking to Nathan Medjic before kickoff, he's got some friends that are playing down in Melbourne, or not, as the case may be, and they can't even train at the moment with their lockdown. They're very jealous of the fact that we've actually got some football here in Canberra and the surrounding region.
May not take for granted the situation that we find ourselves here in the nation's capital. Being very fortunate.
Colbertado goes down on the edge of the box. Colbertado wanted a penalty there, a second one, and it was very, very close, wasn't it? We couldn't really see from this far away, but it wouldn't have been too far away.
Must be very close to being on the line. Matter of inches.
It's a decent position for a free kick, especially with the left footer Jason Ugrinic over this. Only 5 red shirts in the box though, so they're not overcommitting themselves. Michael Pochi is an option perhaps for a cutback and a strike from distance if Ugrinic doesn't want to swing this in, but I fancy that he's just going to whip this across goal low and hard. Medjic covers at the near post. And Tigers look to break with Borgner. Tanini out wide. FC back in numbers. Here's Redmond. Colbertado sliding in, but Redmond gets the better of him. Can't beat Kishtel though. Pavlak. Colbertado. Silky touch from Daniel Colbertado. Lovely reverse pass as well to find Kishta, who couldn't squeeze it to Ugrinic because Spaseski was alert to the danger. Daniel Colbertado looks in fine form.
Showed his threat going forward, but also that dogged chase back and fighting to win every ball and then showing his flair in the middle of the park. That's one of the benefits of playing him in that false 9 position, if that's the position he's taking up here this afternoon. Got lots of flair going forward, but
and could pick a pass as well.
Yeah.
Here's Ryan Keir. Looks for Colbertado. Shields the ball nicely from Redmond, but Tigers have it. And a chance for Stricker to bring it forward. Asked a bit too much of Jared Tanini. Wind's dropped completely, isn't it? It's a beautiful winter's afternoon. But this is Kuma. Lulls you into a false sense of security. When that sun goes behind the hill, the gloves will be on. As opposed to the field where the gloves are off at the moment. Tigers looking for a way back into this one. Verkic. Subasic. Ryan Keir. Sweeping ball out wide and an important touch from Lawrence Redmond, who's a couple of seasons ago was playing State League football here in Cooma. Come out, they plucked him from State League into first grade and got to the grand final last year, and he's done himself well again this season and looks to be a permanent part of this Tigers defence.
Just a player that's been given his chance. He's taken with 2 hands, hasn't let go of that position. Almost a sure starter in Ryan Grogan's side this season.
Here's Oida. Finds Colbertado. Swings it in towards Barac. Couple of deflections. First off Spaseski, then off Redmond. Tanini completes the clearance. Finds Shields. Be isolated at the moment and wins a free kick off of Verkic.
That ball bouncing around in Tigers' box, that's a sign of how bumpy the pitch is.
Looking for his first goal of the season, Mark Shields, in the 3rd match. Doesn't usually wait this long for a goal.
He would have finished in the top 5 goal scorers last season.
And for most seasons prior to that, to be honest. One of the most prolific strikers in Canberra. 132 NPL goals to his name. His club will be hoping he adds to that this afternoon. Barac chasing down Redmond. And Cole,
very casual,
who in 92 minutes of football has conceded 10 goals today. Very harsh on him. The throw-in's been given to Canberra, Croatia. Fair to say Tanini and Stricker, who were right in front of us here, didn't agree with Jacob Martin on this near side.
Caught now great effects, Mike.
Yeah, apologise for any fruity language you might be able to hear. And that one's over the top from Barrett a little bit, it looked like, didn't it? Kobatada wins it back. Here's Oida. Ugrinich. It's usually a feisty encounter between these two sides, Lachlan. There's usually a lot going on as well, and tough one for the officials.
Referee seems content just to let it play out for a little bit, and when called upon, he'll show the yellow card.
Good ball from Kia to find Colbertaldo. Canberra Croatia looking dangerous in the attacking third. Pochi's touch. And the throw goes to Canberra Croatia again. Is Barach. Robbed at the back. Normally when we're down in Cooma, we're stood on the back of Harry Hoversapien's ute, which isn't quite as tall as this, but feels a little bit more sturdy.
Height or safety, which is more important? That's the big question.
That is the big question. It's not too far down though, is it?
Do I test it?
I probably wouldn't if I were you. 18 minutes gone at the AIS. No goals between Gungahlin and Belconnen United. 22 minutes here and no goals as well. One goal, of course, early on. The penalty from Nico Oida, 2 minutes in. Theodorokopoulos having a quick chat with Rocco Stricker as this free kick is being lined up. Michael Potri over it. Chance to swing this into the penalty area, and there's some tall timber in there. Ryan Keir, Nico Oida. Danny Barach good in the air as well. Mark Shields looks like he's 4 metres away rather than the required 10. So he's retreated a couple. The free kick is flat. Not the best one. Whittier got rid of it. Verkic nods it back in. The flick on almost found its way through to Ryan Keir. Here's Kitter. Shields. Borgner. Looks to swing it wide towards where Whittier is waiting.
Great switch.
He's picked it up here, Sam Whittier. Borgner. Looking for a gap to get a shot away. Like I said, against Panthers, he's not shy of hitting them. Zanini. Swung towards the far post. Whittier, double-handed shove. Goes unpenalised.
Luckily the header wasn't on target because that looked blatant from where we were.
Tigers struggled in front of goal in the last half a dozen games of 2019. Only one goal in the last 6 matches of last season. But that was enough to get them to the grand final at the time. They drew blanks against Hume in the FFA Cup, Canberra FC as they were, Gungahlin United, Canberra Olympic and Gungahlin United in the final. By contrast, they've scored 6 in the first 2 this season. So they've rectified that issue.
A lot of their attacking threat last season came from Nicholas Sabua, as far as I'm aware. And then
Nicholas Abbott, yeah.
Yeah, then he moved into Indonesia competition, I think.
Still banging in the goals.
And they struggled to find a replacement for him, but with the new coach under Ryan Grogan, they've found an attacking flair, that's for sure. Yeah,
the return of Rocco Stricker and Julian Borgner certainly helped in the signing of Sam Whittier. Taking the pressure off Mark Shields, who, as Lachlan said, was left to lead the line on his own towards the end of the campaign. There's been a goal at the AIS. We're bringing news of that shortly. Gungahlin United have gone in front against Belconnen United after 21 minutes of play. It's a screamer as well. You can watch that one, of course, on Bar TV Sports as well. Every game played in its entirety and replayed as well. Here's Kishta knocking it wide to Barach. Looks for Kishta down the line for the return. So as it stands, Gungahlin United going top of the table.
After a draw last week against Canberra Croatia at the soggy Deakin Stadium, 3 points is a must for Gungahlin.
Good goal difference as well. I was talking to Frank Keisha yesterday that in a short season, goal difference might well be important. And Canberra and Gungahlin United helped, of course, by that 5-0 win over Woden Western. Tigers FC came into this one with a +5 goal difference as well, having beaten Tuggeranong 4-0. Obviously, that's been chipped away by one. Here's Magic looking for Shields. Subasic was there to stop him bringing it under control. It's with Kitta. Spaseski. Magic. Happy to go back to Redman. Gabe Cole to his left. He comes right to Spaseski. Looks for Tonini, but Pavlak read his intentions. Gets a little toe in, the skipper.
They're struggling to find their way out of their back half. The high press of Canberra Croatia, forcing them to turn it over.
They're not quite as fluid as they'd hope at the moment for Ryan Grogan. They've got themselves a free kick here. It's a fairly robust discussion going on between Spaseski and Tonini about where the ball should have been played.
It's always the man who turned the ball over that has the strongest opinion about where his striker should have been.
Well, here's a chance for Rocco Stricker. We know he's good over a set piece. Opportunity for him to swing this into the danger zone. Tigers have committed plenty of men forward into this one, but it's not the best delivery from Stricker. Always happens when you build them up.
I wonder if that reverses the psychology in it. If you said how bad his ball was and then puts it...
Ping it in the top corner. Magic's touch finds a Redman. Magic under pressure straight away from Greenwich. He's found a good pass though to Kitta. Now there's an opportunity for Michael Kitta to drive forwards, get his shot away, but he can't test Sam Brown. Had options left and right, but you can't fault him for having a ping from there.
That's the first time he's actually found space in the midfield there, and it was a great pass from Magic coming out of their back half.
First start of the season for Michael Kitta. 28 minutes gone. Canberra Croatia still lead by that early penalty. That was a second NPL goal in the career of Nico Uda. Tucked it away comfortably, didn't he? Very confident penalty taker. Here's Cole Bataldo looking to squeeze it through for Greenwich. Cole tidies up. That's Gabe Cole back to Jacob Cole. And the good pressure from Canberra FC.
It's that high press again from Canberra.
Croatia, I should say.
CCFC. But it's yet again that high press, and especially on the bubbly pitch, if you press high, turnovers can come.
They're forcing the errors. Can they capitalise? Swung in towards Barac, who wins the header. Tried to knock it into a dangerous area. Kitta volleys it clear. Chance for Canberra Croatia to stay on the attack. Pavlak to Kishta. Pavlak's a little dink over the top. Spaseski gets rid of it. Back in there for a challenge for Barac again. And the visitors penning the home team in the corner here. Redmond looking to get him out, but Dino Greenwich should be very happy with his side's enthusiastic approach to this one at the moment.
Maybe Canberra Croatia just happy to play on a dry pitch.
It's difficult conditions last week. Credit to the Canberra Croatia staff though for getting that one up and running. Fair bit of sweeping went on off camera. Cobbletaldo chasing this one down. Redmond in with the challenge. Fairly robust one from the central defender, and Cobbletaldo's having a go back as well. Spaseski goes down in a heap. And the upshot is a throw.
What happened there just for a throw-in? Looked like there'd be a few free kicks for either side in that tussle.
Cobbletaldo will take. Looking for Barac. Kishta makes his way to Barac, and he's taking on Redmond. Might fall here in the penalty area for Uida. Dances his way through. Opportunity here, and an important hand for Jacob Cole, because if he wasn't getting a touch on that, I think Jason Greenwich was getting a header into an empty net.
It's a great stop from Cole. It's one of those ones where you palm it up and you try and regather the rebound, because if you push it back out to the top of the box, there's a Canberra Croatian player waiting to hit into an empty net. So well done to the initial save and then regathered.
Still the danger there. There's Oider again, and that was an opportunity for him. He couldn't keep it down. Put it over the crossbar, but I was just about to say, he showed some nice dancing feet earlier on, Nico Oider, and he scored the goal, and he's looking sharp. Very confident
start out there on that right-hand side. Lots of space Canberra Croatia finding on the edge of the box there. They've had a lot more chances than Tigers FC, who's still trying to find their way into the game. Canberra Croatia winning that midfield battle.
The deployment of Daniel Colbertaldo in that number 9 position seems to be causing them all sorts of grief, with Magic not knowing whether to go or stay. Subasic with the header. Here's Barac. Colbertaldo stayed on side here, into the penalty area. Redmond stood strong. Kishta, he pulls it across goal, and Borgner's there with a calm touchback. Not sure Cole appreciated it though, and he did well to find his namesake Gabe Cole. Looks for the big switch to this near side where Tanini was waiting, but Pavlak saw it coming from a mile off. Redmond's kept it in, and we're back in the corner where we all started a couple of minutes ago. They look dangerous every time they attack down these flanks, Canberra Croatia. And as you said, getting into good positions on the edge of the penalty area.
They've had plenty of opportunities to score more than one goal in this opening half.
Here's Borgner, which is off and running down the left flank. Shields is the only option in the middle at the moment. Verkic got rid of it. Here's Borgner. Gets past Kier. Whittier, sliding challenge from Subasic. Free kick, says Theodrokopoulos. Dini Greenwich won't be happy with that. There was a silly challenge to be putting in.
He was going nowhere. He still slid in and gave away the free kick, and it's now given a chance for Tigers to put the ball into the box.
For Rocket Stricker to deliver.
That's always dangerous times.
With the left foot, this will be an outswinger, but there'll be plenty of yellow shirts looking to get on the end of this. Stricker swings it in, decent one towards the far post. Shields was up highest, and it came off him last.
Sandwich between 3 Canberra Croatia defenders there. Not much of a chance.
Yeah, couldn't direct his header on target. It would have been a decent effort if he could have from that range. Sam Brown only called into action once so far this afternoon. And to be fair, I think that's one more save than Jacob Cole's had to make. And yet, it's Canberra Croatia that leads. Nothing he could do about the penalty at all. Tigers goalkeeper, a perfectly executed spot kick from Nico Oido early in the game. It's awarded inside the first 65-70 seconds. It was a sharp start from the visiting team, who we passed on their bus on the way down. 10 or 11 of the players came on the same bus, making the journey from Canberra down to Cooma. For those of you that are watching overseas might not know, it's about an hour out of Canberra City. Gateway to the Snowy Mountain region, near enough. Bit further on and you're skiing.
It was a nice drive down.
It's Greenwich. Colbertaldo outside him. Seems to be everywhere at the moment. Greenwich. Back to Colbertaldo. Here's a chance. If he can get away from the first tackle, he can, and drives it at goal. And he had options with him as well. The cutback could have been on, but you can't blame him for having a pop. Just didn't test the goalkeeper.
As you mentioned earlier on, he's just lively in that makeshift position. The furthest forward you've seen from him in a long time. He's provided such a threat and plenty of chances there. Well, might have preferred that strike on his left foot instead of his right.
Never been a prolific goal scorer, Daniel Colbertaldo. Only 18 in 120 NPL matches, but he tends to score good ones, and he tends to score them at important times.
I think there was a screamer in a midweek game against Canberra Olympic
FFA
season.
Cup quarter-final.
Yeah.
Match winner in the top corner as well. Absolute belter.
A strike worthy to win any match.
At a time in Canberra FC, as they were then, was struggling, and they needed a big win, and they got one courtesy of that goal. Very important time for them, and they didn't look back then, and kicked on from that season and made the top 4 and made the cup final. And we just dropped out of play from Barach.
That nearly landed in the back of the net. Jacob Cole was
Jacob looking right into the sun behind us,
and just stood his ground, and thankfully it snuck out for a goal kick.
Pretty nonchalant. Keir nods it down.
When is Jacob Cole not doing something nonchalant?
Tends to
be a very, very calm character.
Like you said before, he's had better days than this one before, having to play the under-23s as well and being on the wrong end of a fairly hefty defeat. But it won't bother him. He'll get himself ready for this one as Keita goes forward again, lines one up from range, and you can see his eyes lighting up there. But it bobbled horribly as he struck it. And it's landed in the car park.
As you said, found acres of space, and his first thought, you can see, he just looked straight at the goals. He knew what he wanted, just couldn't. The ball didn't sit nicely for him, and it was an awkward strike.
Encouragingly, though, for Tigers and Ryan Grogan, he is finding a lot more space than he did in the opening stages.
Once you can break down the high press of Canberra, Croatia, there's the space up there for them.
Played 37 minutes, still 1-0. Borgner. Here's Redmond. Finds Spaseski. Back to Redmond again. All the way back to Jacob Cole, and here comes the Canberra Croatia press as soon as it goes back. Whittier knocks it down to Gabe Cole. Borgner in midfield. Again, it sits up horribly just before it gets to him, and the turnover allows Oida to drive forward and hit a shot at goal, but always fading away from Jacob Cole's right-hand post.
It's that bounce of the ball again. It is dangerous. Can make a match turn on its head.
Spaseski. Redmond's had the ball in this position a lot today, as has Cole back here, and he's hoiked that one into the air. Keir brings it down. Kitta wins it. Off he goes. Running again. Difficult to stop when in full flight, Michael Kitta. Stricker helps it on its way to Borgner. Whittier to his left. Pochi stands him up. Borgner wins a throw. Still only the one goal at the AS as well. We'll check out the NPL scores at half-time and bring you some news in the second half. Magic tries his luck from a long way out. Would have been something spectacular to beat Sam Brown from that kind of range. Finished second last season, Tigers FC, before making it to the grand final. Just run out of players by the time they got there. Several suspended and injured, and were given a bit of a lesson by Gungahlin United on the night at Deakin Stadium. Good win by Spaseski. Tanini's touch. Pavlak sends that forward, but Cobaltado's not chasing that one.
Yeah, Ryan Grogan's been tasked with bringing the Tigers FC into a new era. Normally there's a very South American feel to Tigers FC, but
they've lost out here, and here's Jason Ugrinich. It's 4-on-4 at the moment, but Ugrinich can't get past Gabe Cole. Opportunity lost there for Canberra, Croatia. Yeah, Gabby Wilk was a mainstay down here for a number of years, and he decided to retire at the end of last season, and it opened the door for Ryan Grogan to come in, and as you said, dawn of a new era, new feel to the team.
More of a local Canberra feel to the squad. Recruited strongly as Magic from rivals Canberra Olympic.
Yeah, he brought in Magic and Sam Whittier from Belconnen, and a couple of Argentinians, one who had to go back home. Unfortunately, the ball swung into the penalty area. It's going to be a corner. Had a striker came in and had to go back and was left with Mariano Canavesio, who is on the bench today with his hands strapped up, his little finger on the left hand had a nasty break. They were worried about permanent nerve damage at one stage, but he says he's going to get it strapped up, and we may see him in the second half. Made his debut here in the 4-0 win over Tuggeranong and sat out the win over Monero at the Riverside. Defensive work to do for the Tigers. Jason Ugrinic with the corner. Another flat delivery. Barach helps it on. Nobody in a red shirt to take advantage. Magic. The 1-2 to get him out of action. Here's Shields. Lovely take and layoff. And Tanini. Here come the Tigers on the burst. Pavlak back with Tanini. And the free kick is given. And this is a dangerous situation with the left footer Rocco Stricker. Might fancy this.
That chance came from a beautiful touch from Mark Shields, bringing it down, bringing Tanini into the game, giving him a chance for the first half to actually drive at Canberra Croatia FC's defence, and he wins the free kick here, and another great chance for Stricker to put a ball into the box. His first few free kicks haven't found the target, so...
Well, it's a long way out, but he did score from a fair old distance against Tuggeranong in round 1. Wouldn't surprise me to see him have a pop a goal here. The other option, of course, is to loft it to that far post. Well, Rocco Stricker has got it in his armoury to pop a goal from here, and that one's bobbled its way through. Didn't strike it at all, did he?
Not a clean strike at all.
And Sambaran slipped when he's got rid of that.
I think a break here.
Still finds for Barach. Battling with Magic. Stricker come away with it. Kitta. He's been strong in this first 45 minutes. Cole. And Barach will close down Jacob Cole, hoping for the error. Gabe Cole. He's given it away. He's won it back, and that should be a free kick. Daniel Barach, and he's going to get a yellow card here. Daniel Barach for the high foot.
Better be careful as well. No, it's a temporary dismissal, so don't argue a case for too long, otherwise you can overstep the line.
Don't get me started on the temporary dismissals, Lucky.
Just trying to roll you up, Russ. Can't be too negative, mate. The temporary dismissal come for you, mate. I'll take the reins here.
It's been 3 temporary dismissals I've seen this year. Adam De Franceschi for Woden Western, Dom Gianpaolo for Canberra Croatia, and Nick Faust yesterday for Canberra Olympic. Here's Kitta. Looking to slide it through. Shields has got in here. Here's Mark Shields. There's the equalising goal. That's what he brings to the team. 1 chance, 1 goal. Tigers back all square.
You mentioned in the call earlier that he hasn't found the back of the net this season, which is unlike Mark Shields. He's got that knack of finding space, great through ball, and just an unerring finish on the left foot past Sam Brown.
What a time to draw level, a minute before the break. Movement was brilliant, the pass picked him out, and the finish was calm and composed, as you would expect from a player with over a century of NPL goals to his name.
Just almost out of nowhere that goal came from. Just felt like both teams were content to go into the halftime break, and bang, Mark Shields scores and the game's level.
Well, Canberra Croatia probably didn't need a warning of a player who's now scored 133 NPL goals, but got the 1 chance he's been craving, and he's made it count. There's generally goals when these two meet, and the first half's not disappointed. 1 apiece, and Tigers now want to finish the first half on the front foot. Here's Gabe Cole. Stride forwards. Kitta, who's been influential. Magic. Looks for the runner Tanini. Pavlak wins it in the air. Spaseski's made a foray forwards. Stricker looks for Tanini. Pavlak's marked him quite well so far. Shields tried to find him. It's been a good battle, this Tanini and Pavlak on this near side.
As we saw when they won a free kick earlier, Tanini, when he given space to driving at defenders, that's where he's at his best, using his quick feet and his pace.
We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Mark Shields' equalising goal cancelling out Nico Ida's early penalty. Parity restored. Picturesque Nijong. Magic with a firm header. Shields brings it under his spell. Holds it up well and finds Strucker. Shields again. Pavlak with a very firm tackle. Kishta on the break. What can he do? It's a good ball, and Gabe Cole for a minute was backpedaling and looked in trouble. Jason Ugrinch was there.
In the sun, didn't it?
Tidied up nicely though. Baseski. Redmond. Shields again. This time beaten to it. Ryan Keir. Kishta outside him. Drives one for range. Oh, what a hit that is! From Emilio Kishta. And in stoppage time, Canberra, Croatia are back in front with a bolt from the blue.
That is an absolute belter. Didn't even take a touch. Just let it run across his body and just perfectly sliced it past Jacob Cole into the top right-hand corner. What a strike.
His first goal in Canberra, Croatia Reds, and he might never hit a better one. Not unearthly for Jacob Cole. And Emilio Kishta puts the visiting side back in front in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Parity lasted under 3 minutes.
You know, it's a good goal when the striker brings the wagging finger out in the celebration. That is a beauty.
We had a great view of that as well, didn't we? As soon as it left his foot, you thought, wow, this has got a chance.
It just felt like both teams were content just to, when it was 1-0 to Canberra, Croatia to go into half-time, and then out of nowhere we've just had two great finishes.
Spaseski. Tigers have got it all to do again. Shields just glued to his feet. That's a great ball too for Tanini in behind here. Here's a chance for Julian Borgner in the penalty area. It's come for Borgner and it's saved by Brown. Could have been 2-2.
The game has come alive.
Where's the defending gone, Lachlan? Theodrokopoulos has said, let's take a break because we need one. An incredible end to the first half. It could have been 2 apiece right there. And how important was that save from Sam Brown?
Probably should have been 2-2 at half-time. Borgner, 3 goals in 2 games. Should have finished better on his left foot, but Sam Brown came out, spread his body, and wheeled it in.
A glorious chance for Julian Borgner to level the scores at the break. It's been an incredible end to the first half. Nico Ida's early penalty had Canberra, Croatia in front inside 2 minutes. And it looked like it was going to end that way up to half-time. But Mark Shields equalised in the 44th minute, only for Emilio Kishta to score an absolute bomb 2 minutes into stoppage time. It's been a cracking first half here at Nijong Oval. We're hoping for more of the same in the second. At the break, it's Tigers FC 1, Canberra, Croatia 2. Welcome back to Nijong Oval for the second half of this NPL Round 3 match. Tigers FC trail Canberra, Croatia 2-1 thanks to that cracking goal from Emilio Kishta just before the half-time break. Over at the AIS, they had an exciting end to the first half. Gungahlin United lead there 1-0 against Balcony United, but have been reduced to 10 men. Lachlan Griffiths sent off in that one, and Lachlan Roberts is here with me on the gantry at Nijong. You've got some updates for Women's National Premier League for us as well.
Yeah. So the scores in the National Premier League Women's, we've got Belconnen United 4-0 up against Tuggeranong United at half-time. Canberra United Academy lead 2-0 against Woden Western as that game draws to half-time. Gungahlin 1-0 up against Monaro. And Wagga City down 3-0 to Canberra Olympic at Gissing Oval. Going back to that tussle between Gungahlin and Belconnen, it seemed like an innocuous incident, innocuous tackle from Lockie Griffiths. Belconnen United players come flying in and Lockie doesn't react well and gets shown his marching orders after throwing a few hands by the looks of it. So
there was some incredulous asking. You could hear it in the background. People going, what for? But it seemed fairly obvious what it was for. Result in NPL 2 as well. Ugali 4, O'Connor Knights 0. So that's a big result for Ugali.
That's a shock.
Big, and they've started the season with a couple of wins. which is great from them in Griffith.
That's 2 wins from 2, and after having the buy-in round 2, so great result for the new club to NPL2.
Shows what they've got to offer here. Did clear up what happened at the start of the game. The team was as what we said it was going to be, and then literally just prior to kickoff, and they didn't even have time to change the match card, Dini Greenwich has put Ivan Pavlak in at left back, which is a strange one. I'll chat to him about that afterwards and see what his thinking was around that.
I wonder how his players felt.
Well, I don't know.
Being shifted.
Yeah, who knows?
Mm.
Anyway, we're about to start the second half here. Looking at the two teams, is Canberra FC are as they were in the first half, apart from that change. Brown in goal, Pochi, Subasic, Vilikic and Pavlak across the back. Kia, Oida, who scored the penalty, Kolbataldo and Kishta, who got the second goal. Badac and New Greenwich up front. Tigers FC, well, they look as they were in the first half. One change, in fact. Just having a look. Alex O'Rigby is on the far side. Just trying to see who he's come on for. Is it Tonini, or is it Tonini moved further back? Let's have a quick look. Looks like Gabe Cole has gone off, and Jared Tonini has gone to right back. So Tigers will be Jacob Cole in goals, Spaseski, Redmond, Megic and Tonini, Kita, Whittier, Borgner, Stricker and Shields.
Tonini's showing his value there. Last season he did play in that right back role and then pushed forward this season, but can fill a gap.
Well, they need a win. They need some goals, so they've called on Alex O'Rigby. Not a bad substitute to bring on. 107 NPL goals for him. Now they have a front four, if you like, of O'Rigby, Shields, Borgner, Whittier, Stricker in behind. Fantasy football time for Ryan Grogan. His Shields.
His message very clear.
Stricker. A scream of pain as Borgner takes over. Cuts onto that right foot, hits it at goal, and it's skipped up in front of Sam Brown. Probably could have heard that cry from Stricker back in Canberra.
Seems to be okay though. Goes back to his feet. Just want to make sure the referee heard him.
Well, Borgner, it's dangerous to leave him have a shot from that distance, especially on this surface. Sam Brown had to watch that all the way in.
He did score last week in pretty much the exact same situation, didn't he? Finding the ball at the edge of the box and shifting onto his right foot and finding the bottom corner. So
drilled it in. Here's Tonini in a defensive role. Played a lot of fullback last year, Jared Tonini. As you mentioned, very versatile character. The shadows lengthen across Nigel Oval, and that sun threatens to go behind that hill. And
where's your gloves, Russ?
They're in the pocket. Like he's got his coat ready, hung up on the scaffolding behind us. Clearance to Whittier right in front of us here, but he's given that away to Jason Greenwich. Chases back to try and win it back. Did enough. Pochi chips it forward. Or he just headed down, and Spaseski happy to let it run out of play.
Bit of a scrappy start to this second half.
Not quite the lightning fast start that Canberra Croatia made to the opening stanza.
I think that half-time break has cooled it down a little bit after we saw 3 goals in the space of 4 minutes to end or 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes to end the half.
Should have been 3. Borgner denied by Brown when it looked easier to score. Didn't catch his shot at all. Now Pavlak finds Greenwich. Bit of room for the winger to run at his marker, and there's runners to the left, and one of them is Badac onto that left foot, and Tonini did enough to block it for a corner. Opened up for a moment.
Lots of space Badac finding on that far side. Tonini got back and just in time to block the shot. Nearly caught them napping.
First corner of the second half. Emilio Kishta, who will be absolutely buzzing after that goal to end the first half. To go a long way to see a better one. That's right up there in the goal of the season video contenders. Kishta with the corner, swings it into the near post, and Cole gratefully gathers that in. Bowls it out towards Spaseski. We'll keep you up to date, of course, elsewhere. Big test of Gungahlin United now then, down to 10. Stricker left one in on Pavlak. It's going to break for O'Rigby here. And the first chance for us to see Alex O'Rigby running at Ivan Pavlak and getting it into the penalty area. Good stretch from Verkic. Falls for Borgner, but the whistle will go for a free kick. Just a reminder of next week's offerings. Melrose on Saturday afternoon, so back on the scaffolding I'm thinking there at Melrose Synthetic. Woden Western versus Monero Panthers. Sunday afternoon, Canberra Croatia versus Canberra Olympic at Deakin Stadium. Of course, full WNPL programme as well, with Matt Nicoletti and Jeremy Megan commentating on those games for you. Looking after the WNPL well this year, the boys.
Absolutely. They're calling the Tuggeranong United vs Belconnen United game this afternoon, so
plenty of goals for them to talk about as well. It's a lovely ball forward, and Whittier's got a bit of room for the first time in the second half, and a chance to charge into the penalty if he can onto that right foot. Spends it goalwards! That is sensational from Sam Whittier. We knew he had it in his locker. Pick that one out. What an equaliser.
I'm astounded. What a strike. You can see what he wanted to do as soon as he picked it up. He wanted to find his right foot, cut back inside. There you go, 2 goals this season in the one match. What a strike.
Whittier sees Emilio Kishta's goal and raises the standard. Absolutely brilliant.
Breathtaking. I'm actually in shock. What a strike.
His first goal for Tigers FC, and Ian going to get a better one than that as well. A hit and a half from Sam Whittier. The free kick goes Tigers' way. He will be absolutely buzzing inside. That has come off the boot superbly, and it bent as well. And Sam Brown, not a chance at all.
Cleaned out the cobwebs here at Nijong. It's just that same right top hand corner, isn't it?
It seems to be the favoured place, doesn't it? What a strike. 2 crackers we've seen, and promise of more to come. 5 minutes into the second half, 2 apiece. 2 sides going toe to toe.
As you said, this fixture has proven to a lot of goals in the past, and we look set for another one here this afternoon.
And in such a short season, every goal is vital. Here's Tanini. Once again, we're privileged to be right behind that when it left his foot, and you could just see the trajectory of it arcing into that top corner. Here's Borgner. Whittier again. Decent cross that. Shields arriving. Pavlak with a header clear. Colbertaldo helps it out. Balach. Oider on the run. Redman across with him. And it's out of play.
The game has really opened up in the second half, hasn't it?
Well, Sam Whittier was on the peripheral for most of it in the first half, and they brought him into play with that one. He's got acres of room this near side as well. Michael Pocci's leaving him in lots of Nigel Oval to roam into. Maybe won't be showing him on the inside again.
If they can switch it out here quickly. As you said, he's got acres of space.
Magic finds Spaseski. Forced to go back to Jacob Cole. Kishta with a header. Oider finds Kier. Lets it run to Subasic. Here's Marko Verkic at the back. Subasic. Ryan Kier. Space for Greenwich. Good ball out wide to Pocci. Delivery's good as well, and that's a solid header clear from Lawrence Redman. Kisha with the pick up of the pieces, couldn't quite squeeze his pass through. Well, Strucker comes away with it. Whittier looks for Alex Ola-Rigby, decent ball as well. It's going to fall for Borgner. He thought about hitting it. Still might come for Borgner. Still there, Borgner, and it's come off of Pavlak. Half-hearted appeals for handball. Well, it's all happening. Great tackle that from Keita. All ball, he's left Colbertaldo in a heap. Must have got a piece of his ankle as well. Looked like a good challenge from here.
I thought it was a clean tackle, to be honest.
And Tiger's going to kick it out of play so that Daniel Colbertado can get a little bit of treatment eventually.
I think the referee's made the right decision there not to blow the whistle there. It's a strong
robust challenge.
Yeah, it's a strong challenge and wins the ball cleanly.
Well, Canberra, Croatia, 2-2 today. Unbelievably, they last lost a regular season game in round 13 last season against Belconnen, which was on the 13th of July, which is over a year ago, give or take what's happened with COVID as well. That's 5 wins and 2 draws. So their form at the end of last season was pretty good.
Be pretty happy to go a whole year without losing a match.
Well, losing the regular season, of course, they lost in the finals. They were beaten quite heavily by Gungahlin United.
Forget that it ever happened and move on.
But they're a tough side to beat, and they've shown that again this year. But Tigers looking to continue their 100% records. Pochi. Keir.
There's that bobble.
Pavlak. Colbertaldo recovered from that knock. Barac out wide. Wants to come in field, and Michael Kitter stops him in his tracks. And Tanini happy to send it up to Mark Shields, who brings it down. Probably the best number 9 in the league at bringing the ball down with his back to goal, and that's a good ball out wide as well. That's a lot for Sam Whittier. Don't think there's many better with his back to goal than Shields.
The mark for Duca. Just the way he cushions the ball and brings it off his chest and brings it down to... brings his midfielders and wingers into play. It's just second to none.
Ola Rigby wants this, but Pavlak's taking it off his toes, and he'll charge at the Tigers' defence, and he's found Barac in the penalty area. It's opened up briefly here for Daniel Barac, and again a good block. Rocco Stricker back to help out the defence. Barac wins it back straight away though, and fires it across goal. Ugrinich is waiting. Important touch from Spaseski. Whittier goes back to Spaseski.
Stricker's out on the far side. Seemed to have hurt himself winning that challenge. He's not on the field of play at the minute.
Might just be in the back of your shot there as Magic sends it forwards. Whittier nods it down towards where Shields was. Colbertaldo wants it. He's got it as well, and he's fed it through towards Ugrinich. Nicely done by Tony Spaseski. Stricker getting treatment off the field. Tigers briefly down to 10. Subasic with the header. Colbertaldo and Keir exchanging passes in a crowded midfield. Falls for Keir. Colbertaldo tried to squeeze it through. Nice open field to the second half. You're watching live football on Bar TV Sports, the home of grassroots football in Australia.
Chance here.
Shields couldn't find Ola Rigby. Pavlak can bring it away. Now he finds Kishta. Colbertaldo tries to find Barac. Tanini was there. You can feel Canberra Croatia building something here. Well, as I say that, Nico Order strike well off target.
One way to release the pressure, isn't it? You've got the opposition hedged in their own back half, and you just feel he had a great first 45 minutes. So confidence, but Junior Greenwich would prefer to play that ball out wide and build more pressure instead of releasing it like that. It's not a great strike.
Well, Stricker's about to come back on. Quarter of an hour gone nearly in the second half. Tigers 2, Canberra Croatia 2.
Looks like he's got a bandage on his right wrist.
Got a treading on it or something, maybe, who knows? Didn't see it from this far. Keir with a solid header forward, but nobody in a red shirt chasing.
He is holding it gingerly though, there in the middle of the park. Flexing it out. Maybe he fell on it awkwardly after winning that tackle.
Magic dances his way out of trouble, and Kitter can bring it forwards. Shields inside, Kitter going on his own, trying to bulldoze his way past Daniel Subasic, and now out of position, and a chance for Ugrinich to find Colbertaldo. Turns away from Stricker, then away from Borgner. Kish just not seen where the ball is, but he's collected it. And he tried to find Balach. Not been at his best today, Rocco Stricker, has he? But he's been moments when he's had possession where you can just see the quality he brings to this side.
One of the best left foots in the league. He can find a man in the box from a corner situation. His free kicks haven't been great so far today, but give him a chance at your peril.
This is only his 12th NPL first grade start, because obviously he's been playing overseas as well. 7 goals to his name from a deep lying position as well. So there's your threat. And we know what he can bring to the game. Here's Sam Whittier, whose wonder strike was his 16th at this level. First in Kuma colours. Borgner. Whittier. Happy to go back to Spaseski. Tigers looking far more composed and confident in possession in the second half than they did in the first 45 minutes.
It's amazing what a wonder strike from Sam Whittier can do to your confidence. They've gone into this game looking at ease.
Don't feel like the goal scoring's done just yet here, though. Oida goes wide to Greenwich. He cuts inside onto his left foot. Doesn't mind a hit himself, Jason Greenwich. Stricker made sure he couldn't get one off. Here's Pavlak. Greenwich stayed out on the left. Cutback, couldn't find Colbertaldo. Bit of pressure from Canberra, Croatia. Ryan Keir is giving it away, and a chance for Tigers to spring forward. Kitzer to Ola Rigby, but that's a lazy ball and picked off by Marko Vrkic. Oida in midfield, and he can drive forward as well. Didn't pick the right pass, and now it's Spaseski's turn. It feels like a bit like a basketball game at the moment. One end to the other.
Both teams are struggling to find that killer final pass.
Tonini comes across field. Pochi got a foot on it. Spaseski gives it away. Keir finds Colbertaldo. There seems to be space in the middle of the park that was lacking in the first 45, and said that one wide to Balach. Kishta's up with him. Emilio Kishta, it's dipping and swerving, he's done it again!
Why?
Goodness gracious me! 2 absolute stunners from the midfielder. It dips in, and Canberra, Croatia are back in front again.
We have been blessed with some incredible strikes here this afternoon. It looked like there was nothing on there besides try his luck, and the ball just dips over Jacob Cole.
Brilliant strike from Emilio Kishta.
Have a pick of which one's your goal of the season. We've had 3 absolute belters and a penalty.
And Canberra, Croatia lead by the odd goal in 5. Incredible stuff. There's been a change whilst that was going on. Christian Junna's come on for Jared Tonini to play it right back. And you have to feel for Jacob Cole. He's conceded 2 world-class strikes from Emilio Kishta.
He's conceded 3 goals this afternoon in the first grade. 1 a penalty and 2 just he could do nothing about.
I was just saying I didn't feel the goals had been finished for the afternoon, and Kishta comes up with one of those, and well, we'll be happy to see a few more.
Absolutely. Despite the quality of the pitch, the quality of football has been exceptional. Definitely worth the trip down to Kuma.
Well, it's worth it for one of those 3 spectacular goals on their own, but to get 3 of them in the same game, let's hope the replay links are working. We'll be sharing them around a lot. Here's Stricker. Spaseski. Well, over to you, Tigers FC. What have you got in offer? Whose turn is it next? Maybe Sam Whittier needs to step up again.
Borgner fancies himself as well, I'm sure.
Whittier's chasing this one. Pochi wins the header. Whittier finds Borgner. Stricker. Oh, good stretch from Pochi.
The exaggerated no-look pass.
Colbertaldo. Jason Ugrinich. A lot of room on the far side for Balac if the switch comes. Kier finds Kolbatada. They're making their way out there. Here's Oida towards Balac. First test for Christian Junner. Kishta's wants it cut back, and why not? He's still there if they pull it back. Kishta's there on a hat-trick. Didn't get it right this time.
It wasn't on his right foot. That was the difference. If that ball had fallen to his right foot, watch out.
May have been picking it out again. Well, Amelia Kishta had only scored 4 NPL goals in his career before this with Tagalong United and Monero Panthers. I doubt he's hit 2 any better than what he's hit this afternoon. Well, he played in Greece as well, of course, where he's from originally, and I doubt he scored any better there either. He'd be able to tell us afterwards.
It's just one of those ones you don't want to take your boots off. Just wear them all week, wear them to training, wear them to the game next week, and don't change anything.
And the beauty of live football on Bar TV Sports, it's there forever.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching it over and over again. And when Lachlan Roberts puts together the video of goals of the season for the Capital Football Awards night, good luck picking the best ones. Borgner finds Whittier. His turn to run at the defence. Kitter's there. Jason Ugrinich brings it away. Kishta running forwards. Advancing menacingly again in towards a penalty. Gets his shot away. And it came off Christian Junner for a corner. He looks in the mood, Emilio Kishta, and why not?
He picks up that ball in midfield. There's one thing on his mind. He is driving out his man. He wants to beat him and get a shot away. Luckily that one was deflected out for a corner, which he will take on that far side.
Chance for him to swing this into the penalty area.
Maybe a tactical switch here as well as Sam Whittier goes out into that far side and Oliver Rigby comes to the near side here.
Well, Canberra, Croatia attacking again. Swung in towards the near post, nodded clear by Strucker. Falls for Ugrinich. He wants one from range. Ricocheting around like a pinball. Might fall for Subasic. Redman out with him. Tries to get the better of Redman. Wins a corner on this near side. Milia Kishta just stretching out his groin over there. Maybe he tweaked something with the left foot effort. The win over the crossbar.
He's just stretching for the next one, Russ. That's what he's doing.
Well, Canberra
making sure he's ready for his next strike.
Canberra Croatia have left 4 back here to deal with the twin threats of Whittier and Shields. Everybody else in the penalty area. Near post one from Subasic, not his best. Ola Rigby and Stricker combined to clear. Kolbatada leaning on Stricker and wins the ball off his toe. Well, you still wouldn't feel comfortable if you were Canberra Croatia, would you? There's plenty of time to go. The sun feels nice and warm on our backs. Kitter in midfield. Loses out to Kishta. Ugrinich helps it round the corner towards Balac. Busting a gut to try and keep it in play, and he will do, and win another corner off Christian Junner. Did well there, Daniel Balac. Halfway through the second half. If you just tuned in, rewind and watch the goals. Tigers FC 2, Canberra Croatia 3. Some crackers. Lachlan Roberts will bring you news from the AIS in a bit after this corner. Wigan Garland United down to 10 men. Lachlan Griffith sent off just before half-time, leading Balcony United 1-0. Get an update there as this is swung in by Kolbatada. Decent one towards Subasic. Nodded clear. Any change?
Still 1-0.
Gungan will be looking to hold on if they can.
Be an important win for them. Drew last week against Canberra Croatia, and they want to prove that they are the defending champions for a reason, and they can go back to back. And a win against a side in Belconnen who've shown some promise this year with 2 wins from 2. It'd be a big statement. If
the scores stay as they are, Lachlan, we're 3 rounds into NPL Capital Football season, and not one side would have won all 3 matches, which is, can't guarantee it, but it's fairly unheard of in this competition.
And you've got sides like Monero who haven't won a game but feel like they kind of deserve to have more points. It's been quite an even competition.
As I said, if it stays as it is, Gungahlin will be top of the table with 7 points. Canberra Croatia will be second with 7 points. Tigers and Belka will both have 6, as will Canberra Olympic. It's a real logjam for the top 4. And next week we're halfway through. And whilst it's not ideal this short season, it's great to have some football, and it's great to be able to see 5 or 6 and even 8 sides that are really competitive here. And it's at 7 points after 3 rounds, even a side like Woden Western who haven't got a point, a couple of wins and they're right back in the mix as well.
They've got a chance against Monero Panthers, which will be calling next weekend, and 2 sides who haven't won and be desperate for points. Get 3 points there and you feel like you got a chance, right?
Could all change, of course. A couple of goals in either venue. Pochi looks for Cole Bataldo. Spaseski wins it well. Nice Cruyff turn. And then Pochi and Cole Bataldo stop him before he can get going. Here's Jason Ugrinich running at the defence. Kittel was back. Borgner's back heel, extravagant. Only found Uida. Kishler in space. Looking to take on Strucker, who does well, Rocco Strucker, and then concedes a free kick. Kishler goes early. Ugrinich tries to squeeze it through a non-existent gap, and in the end has to settle for a throw-in. "20 minutes to go here at Nigel Oval. Ball into the penalty area and another corner for Canberra Croatia. Again, they won't throw too many more forward, you wouldn't think. They lead by 3-2. Daniel Colbertado on set-piece duties. Jason Ugrinich taking up a position on the edge of the penalty area. There's not a yellow shirt near him at the moment. Swung in towards Kiru, finds a little flick on towards Subasic. Pochi's giving him an option. Chooses Ugrinich. Kishta looks to slide it through for Kier. Lovely layoff. Here's Daniel Colbertado. Real opportunity. And it's hit the side netting. Great chance to kill it off for Daniel Colbertado.
That's a beautiful passage of play from Canberra Croatia. From the corner. Worked her way back outside the box. Colbertado with a chance on his left foot. You'd fancy him from there, but couldn't find the target.
He'd be disappointed he didn't work Jacob Cole. And he found the side netting. Kishta. Free kick goes the other way this time, and Tigers can have a little bit of respite defensively. You feel like Canberra Croatia turning the screw a little.
They would have wanted to bury the game with that Colbertado strike, but there's always a chance for more goals. This is what this game has shown us, right? Tigers FC didn't look like they had much of an opportunity, and then out of nowhere they've scored before half-time and after half-time. So
plenty of goals in this this Tigers FC team, as I said. Julia Borgner with 30 NPL goals. Alex O'Ribby 107. Mark Shields 133. You wouldn't bet against them. Here's Kishta. Finds Colbertaldo. Chance for Ryan Keir here. Lays it off to Kishta. Outstanding! Hat-trick for Emilio Kishta. Wonderful build-up. Excellent execution. 4-2 to Canberra Croatia.
What a wonderful layoff by Daniel Keir. Great little back heel. Rolls it to the edge of the box. And Kishna finally finds his hat-trick. How many goals did he have before this game? 4?
4, yeah.
And now he's got 3 in one afternoon. 3 beautiful goals from Kishner.
If you were taking bets on which one of these players on the field would have had a hat-trick at kick-off time, Emilio Kishta, I dare say, would have been a long way down the list. But it's he who's making the difference. That build-up was outstanding. The finish was composed. Hat-trick for the Greek midfielder. And Canberra Croatia now have a healthy cushion.
want to watch that layoff by Daniel Keir over and over again. That was sumptuous.
Ryan Keir.
Ryan Keir, sorry. My mistake.
You got it, mate. Again, though, I mean, the finish not quite as spectacular as what we've seen, but what a move. And what a goal. Another brilliant finish. Superb team move. Sides in the NPL this year raising the bar in terms of the goals that we're seeing. Much to do for Ryan Grogan's Tigers if they are to avoid a first defeat of the season. Here's Alex Olorigby. He can change a game. Chance for him to run Michael Pochi in the area. Shields lays it off. Sits up for Stricker. Wants it on that left foot. 3 red shirts in front of him. Ball swung towards the far post. Kept in by Whittier. Chance for Canberra Croatia to bring it away. Well, even at 4-2, you feel that there's still something here for the Tigers if they can find a way back.
Stricker had a great opportunity there on his right foot, but obviously he favours his left, his famous left, and didn't take the opportunity to shoot on his right and cut back to his left, and the opportunity passed and it only came from a cross. And Canberra Croatia were able to snuff it out. You wonder if he just taken the bit between his teeth and struck the ball with his right. At least tested Sam Brown and goals.
We still got Quarterman out of play as well. Incredible match here at Nijong. Except before kickoff, there's usually goals when these two meet. Well, 6 of them so far. And all of them very, very good. Colbertaldo takes it in his stride. Lovely turn. Finds Ugrinich.
Colbertaldo's holder play is fabulous.
He's in here behind again. Barac in the middle. Ugrinich there as well. Uida waiting on the edge of the box. Digged in towards Barac. Looking to challenge. It still might fall for Colbertaldo, who hits it. And Cole goes down low to make the save.
I know you're not a bet. Colbertaldo has been brilliant this afternoon.
I know you're not a betting man, Lockie, but you wouldn't be guessing the final score from here, would you? It feels like
I'll do it anyway. 4-3. There's got one more left in Tigers for sure.
It feels like there's more left in Canberra, Croatia. And as Tigers come looking, they may well be able to pick them off on the break.
I think most sides would be content with the 4-2. Put some men behind the ball and let them play with it. But they're pushing.
And they're giving it away here. Here's Uida. Steps away brilliantly from the challenge. Well, they weren't really challenging for finals last year, Canberra, Croatia. They snuck in after a good run of form at the end of the season, but were beaten comfortably by Gungahlin United. This feels like a different outfit under Dean Ugrinich this year.
Definitely a top 2 side.
And they've still got Nick Bobolis and Matt Gerbischer to come back into this lineup as well, 2 of the best centre-backs in the competition.
Just a very, very strong side.
And Nico Kalfas, of course, who's suspended today. So they are looking good at the moment. Alex Olorigby not happy. He wants the ball to feet. He wants a chance to bring his side back into this game. Nod forward from Barac is good. Kishta. Flying at the moment, Emilio Kishta.
It seems like Canberra Croatia's season started. They were strong against Monaro Panthers and probably lucky to walk away with all 3 points. And then the wet weather game and against Gungahlin, and here they just made an absolute statement on the road in Cooma.
Well, they're hitting their stride, aren't they? Here's a free kick and an opportunity from range for perhaps Jason Ugrinich's left foot. We've been talking about Rocco Stricker's left foot. Well, Jason Ugrinich has got a tidy one as well. One that's brought him 85 NPL goals. And he'll fancy this, and Jacob Cole will need to be wary. Nico Uida's over it as well. He's a right-footed option. Would it be the right of Uida or the left of Ugrinich? It is Ugrinich. And it's straight down the throat of Cole. Well, we don't keep the shots on target stats, but if we had them, it would be plenty to plenty. is Colbertaldo. Kishto out wide. Borgner sends it forwards. Shields. And the free kick will go against Tigers FC. Julian Borgner penalised. Time ticking away here. Time ticking away at the AS, where last we checked in it was 1-0 to Gungahlin United. Time ticking away there as well. 30 minutes to go. There's been a goal though, and Belconnen United have equalised. Gungahlin 1, Belconnen United 1. It changes things again. Lachlan Roberts will try and bring us the score if he can.
No surprise, it's young Luca Flores on the score sheet again. He's had a great start to the season. 3 from 3.
3 in 3 games for Luca Flores. The go-to man for Belconnen United. That changes the table again. As we stand, 3 teams on 7 points. 2 teams on 7 points. Belconnen and Canberra, Croatia. Started the season, the start of the day in 4th, Canberra, Croatia. Could end it first. That's how close everything is at the moment. Barac. Colbertaldo. Amazingly, we'll be top on goal difference after being starting the day 4th.
Just shows you how tight the competition is this year in this shortened season. That top 4 spot is open to at least 5, 6, 7 teams.
Again, can change in the last 15 minutes or so at both venues as the sun goes down behind the hill. Prepare for the frost to come in. Here's Magic. Sends it wide to Whittier. It's been almost a perfect winter's day down here in Cooma. Weather's been good, football's been excellent.
It does seem like the game is firmly in Canberra, Croatia's grasp, but they can't afford to fall asleep here. Tigers have plenty of firepower.
Went to the final 10 minutes. Emilio Kishta, his day is done. He'll have to be settled for just the 3 goals this afternoon. Dom Gianpaolo coming on to replace him. I think it's fair to say that he's done his afternoon's work.
I think so.
Gets a chance to have a sit down and relive his hat-trick. Puts him right up there in the leading scorers as well. Redmond with a header. Spaseski gets the free kick for a foul by Gianpaolo. It's one of those days where you look at it and you go, if you're a defender for Tigers FC or you're the goalkeeper and you look at it and go, we've not done a lot wrong today, and yet we've conceded 4 goals.
That might be the message from Ryan Grogan. It's one of those games where the game got away from you. It's 4-2, but they had their opportunities, and Canberra, Croatia just took some half chances almost.
Stricker lifts that into the air. Brown needs to come and punch. Got a good 2-hand fist on it. Ivan Pagvlak sends that one way up into the night sky. Comes down with snow on it, I think. Spaseski's there to tidy up. Here's Junna. Has to go back to Cole. Spaseski once more. Junna. Looks for the run of Borgner. Verkic is across to make sure that Borgner can't do anything with this. Finds Pavlak. Did well there, Marko Verkic. Kier takes it in his stride. Nice turn. Ugrinic, who swapped flanks with Barac for the time being. Not a bad sub to bring on Dom Gianpaolo.
Shows the depth of Canberra, Croatia's side. As you mentioned, they've still got 3 or 4 key players who aren't playing today in the matchday squad due to injury. And you're going to come away with, well, most likely with all 3 points here.
Shields spinning, finds Whittier, who's fouled. Theodrakopoulos has kept the cards in his pocket for most of the game, only Daniel Barac with a yellow. Handled it well in his 6th NPL game because it's been a difficult one as well. There's been tackles that are going in. He's let it flow.
It's definitely a feisty encounter, and he just seems content to just let it settle.
And that's what you like to see. That's what you like to see in your officials. They're firm but in control of the match. letting the two teams play out.
Overall, just a great afternoon, hasn't it been? Great goals, great officiating.
Good afternoon of NPL football live on Bar TV Sports, home of grassroots football in Australia. Nowhere else will you see goals like what you've seen here at this level. Thanks to the Bar TV crew and Capital Football for supporting it. It's been a game changer for the game in the capital. It's great that people are watching from all over Canberra who can't come down to Nijong today.
Especially in just the season we've got, we're trying to restrict spectators as much as we can. Just be sensible and make sure the season returns safely. To have the ability to show our games on Facebook and on YouTube, it just encourages those people to follow social distancing requirements and make sure we all stay safe.
Some would say that the Tigers standing off Emilio Kishta was social distancing too far for his two absolute speckies he scored this afternoon. I still don't know whether either of them were the better one or Sam Whittier's absolute belting curler. Oh, the rugby flag goes up. Take your pick, really. Or the build-up for his third goal. I don't know which one was the better for him, let alone the one for the Tigers. 5 minutes to play. 4-2 to Canberra, Croatia.
Shulikis' first goal. That's with the goal of the afternoon. Closely followed by Whittier, I think. I think that's where they're sitting in the order for me.
Is Gianpaolo. His first real involvement. Decent one as well. Finds Colbertaldo. Oida. Kier just helps it on to Ugrinic. Junna was there. Verkic needs to time the bounce and is happy to nod it back to Sam Brown. No sense that Canberra Croatia are running down the clock. Sam Brown wanted to get on with it really quickly.
Yeah, they don't seem content with 4 goals, do they?
I think this is the message that Dean Ugrinic has been preaching to this team since pre-season, and I was privileged to be in a changing room for them in a pre-season game, and he did say he wants them to be ruthless. If they've got 3, get 4. If they've got 4 and they can, get 5. And that's just the way it is. I think goal difference, we've mentioned it before, might well be a key in this season. And if you've got the ability to add goals to your tally, why not take it?
It'd have been great to get an insight into one of Dean Ugrinich's pre-game or half-time talks.
Very fortunate here in my position that a lot of the coaches do, in fact, let us listen into some of their team talks and give us their tactical plans beforehand, knowing that we won't be sharing them around.
Despite your Tuggeranong United loyalty?
Despite the Tuggeranong United loyalty, yeah.
I just had to get that one in there.
That is true. I am in my Tuggeranong United jacket today. It is nice and warm. I don't think it's any secret that I was at Tuggeranong United for a number of years. But yeah, they're usually pretty free with their information, and it's a credit to them and their teams, and it helps us promote the competition.
That's all, at the end of the day, that's all we want, right?
Absolutely.
We want to grow football in the ACT and surrounding region.
I think we're getting there. We're going to have a good one this season, even though it's curtailed by what's been going on around the world. Hopefully, as Lachlan mentioned earlier, everyone does the right thing and we can continue to watch some top-class football. Here's Tigers. They've not given up the ghost yet. Whittier's ball in. That's over-hit, though. They've got a chance to bounce back next week. Tigers at the AIS against Gungahlin United, who might be dropping more points into the final minute there. And it's I think we've got a penalty to Gungahlin at the AIS in the final minutes. This will change things dramatically. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Gianpaolo here. Lachlan Roberts will watch that one and let us know whether he scores.
It's 2-1 to Gungahlin. Jeremy Hampshire-Marion buries the penalty to the bottom corner.
Into stoppage time as well, and that changes things again. That puts Gungahlin top of the pile. 10-man Gungahlin. They'll be super happy with that. Heartbreaker though for Balcony United. Magic sends it forward. Great ball that is. Shields has got in behind Subasic. Hasn't got the pace of yesteryear, but does have the wiles and the skill. And Subasic stood him up well. And it's out of play. And it will be a corner for Tigers and a chance for them to throw everybody forwards into the final minute and a half plus stoppage time. So there may be time, if they can nick one here, to put a bit of pressure on in whatever stoppage time that Theodrakopoulos and his team adds on. Julian Borgner tasked with the delivery in the first instance. Needs to be a good one. It's not bad. The opportunity was there for Redmond. Might come out for Borgner. He does win it, Julian Borgner. Gets it onto that right foot. And Canberra Croatia can bring it away with Daniel Barac. Ugrinic running ahead of him. Gianpaolo on this near side. Have they got a clinical counter-attack up the sleeve? It's Dominic Gianpaolo in the penalty area. Fires it a goal. To be honest, as far as Canberra Croatia is concerned, it's not a bad place for the ball to be. Cole with the goal kick.
That's a great opportunity to add to the score sheet. Just couldn't find the target.
Someone of his ability and technique will be disappointed not to have hit the target. Borgner's pulled a hamstring out of shot to the left, it looks, which is bad news for the Tigers. Ola Rigby might have to go alone here against Pochi. Goes past Pochi and Barac. Finds Borgner, who's on one leg. Manages to sweep it out there. Just immediately clutches the back of his leg there. The ball swung over. It's going to come to Borgner. Fires it at goal. Shields is there. Might fight for Ola Rigby, but the flag is up.
Imagine I'm going to find that pass by Borgner on one leg. That is brilliant.
If it wasn't tweaked before he played that, it certainly is now. We're into stoppage time.
You'd think to yourself, just don't play the pass, wouldn't you? Think of the aching body.
Typical striker, though, when it bounced back to him on the edge of the box, even though he's got one leg, he's gone, I'll bash this. We're into stoppage time.
Instinct.
Redmond with a really strong header. Stricker tries to get in there. Be a throw for the Tigers. Redmond in hurry-up mode. Stricker finds Redmond again. Canavesio, the substitute who's come on with his bandaged hand, the Argentinian. Here's Junna.
Meanwhile, there's been a red card in the game over the AIS grass field, and it's 10 men each.
Was it for the penalty incident?
Separate incident.
Well, there we go. Didn't see who got sent off there, did you? Well, went from bad to worse for Balcony United. Two minutes of stoppage time played. Magic goes long. Shields brings it down.
It's former Tigers man Darren Bailey giving his marching orders for a very rough challenge in the middle of the park.
Here's Canavesio. You can see how he's holding his hand there. He broke his little finger in the first game of the season. He's had a couple of touches here. It's good for him to be back on the field, but for Tigers FC, it's disappointment. Canberra FC have come to Nijong and they've conquered. And Julian Borgner, out of shot there, is limping very badly as well. So it's not been the best of afternoons for Ryan Gregg and his team, but in the end, they've been undone by Emilio Kishta hat-trick and some wonderful goals.
Just a fantastic afternoon of football, hasn't it? Hasn't it been? There's been some fantastic strikes from both sides and plenty of goals. So I think the tone was set from a penalty in the opening 2 minutes. We should have expected a few goals in this fixture, and it hasn't disappointed.
It really fails to disappoint at Nijong Oval when these two meet. Thanks to Lachlan Roberts for his company this afternoon. Well, that penalty from Nico Oida seemed a long, long time ago in the second minute, which gave Canberra Croatia the lead, and it appeared for 44 minutes as if that was going to be the only goal of the first half. Mark Shields popped up with an equaliser before Emilio Kishta started his one-man goal of the season competition with a screamer into the top right left-hand corner to give his side a 2-1 lead at the break. Sam Whittier bettered it with a curling effort to level things up in the second half before Kishta went and did it again from distance to make it 3-2. The Greek midfielder then completed his hat-trick, sweeping home after a neat move involving Ryan Keir to give the points to Canberra Croatia. It's been a great afternoon here at Nijong Oval. Hope you've enjoyed it all. The final score, Tigers FC 2, Canberra Croatia 4.